Oh, it's when I do that. Hello, everyone. Janae here from Euro Weight Loss.
Hello.
And we're going to keep talking about how we got here. This is part 2, Leash.
This is exciting.
I know. I listened to part 1 just earlier and I was like, oh man, so fun. So fun.
Actually, I was thinking about it too, and I wanted to say that. So we're about to start 2016 now, right? And you had shared the growth of your weight loss in September 2015. There was some massive growth, and for me at that point, I had gone back to work in September. My twins were 1. And
Right.
it was in October that I knew I needed a change. So I wanted to share that.
Okay, tell us about that moment where you felt that you needed that. Like what in October happened? Oh, your
It
birthday?
it wasn't
No?
my birthday. And not everyone when they decide they want to change has this moment, but I had a very defining moment where I was going away. There was the multiple moms, so any moms that have multiples were going on a trip, and it's like you sleep the night and it was supposed to be super fun, and I couldn't find anything to put on my body. And I ended up wearing this outfit that was like I would have worn to work. Like it was like a cardigan and like a button up. I used to do that often. I would dress like too hot or too cold or too fancy just because like I couldn't match with my outfit because I just had to fit what I could somewhat fit on my body. And I remember getting dressed and I was so uncomfortable. And the whole time we were there, I was just thinking about how I looked, how I felt, how I had no energy. I saw photos of the weekend and I was like, that is not me.
So interesting because it's not like after you had your girls, you were so heavier than you were before the girls. So there was something that happened for sure where you were like, you know what? Like it's not even about physical appearance or whatever. Like you started to live the consequences of obesity.
And maybe it was because I knew I was done having babies. So,
Okay.
I think it was partly that and my kids were just that tiny bit older. I had 2 one-year-olds and a
I was going to
3-year-old.
say, maybe you were just friggin' exhausted and you're like, this sucks to feel this way. And you recognize the link between how you felt and your weight.
I also recognized that nobody was going to do it for me, that no one was going to give me time. Like I realized if I was going to do this, I was going to need to be very purposeful with it.
Okay.
It wasn't just going to happen by accident. I was going to have to be very purposeful because I had no time. There was no extra hours in my day.
Yeah. There was really no, like, you didn't make a big announcement when you were like, okay, I'm going to lose weight in January. We were obviously really close friends and it's January and you just shared with me, we just like became strong allies of accountability.
Yeah.
Like we just became really strong. Like we would talk every effing day
e-
about everything.
Everything.
Remember how we like had even seen like an article about like when you talk a lot about something or when you study it and when you like keep talking about it, you actually up your chances of success by like a bajillion. And I remember the conversation between you and I were like, no wonder we're successful. We
Yeah.
talk about this all the time.
Yeah. Which is,
And
I'm sure, part of now looking back on why our members are so successful, having the community group, having an environment. There was no community group then, but we had our own little environment.
we did. And it was to the point where I'm sure our colleagues are like, oh my God, they're still like in the lunchroom. All we talked about was like our goals and like how good we felt or how things were going. Or like we were pretty dedicated in that sense
Yeah,
together of that part. And I think think about it, it's now 5 years. 5 years later, we're still very much connected to who we want to be. We still talk about it and it's a big part of our success still.
absolutely. Talk all the talking.
That's why we're successful. We talk so much. Okay, so 2016 rolls around. Leash gets on that wagon of wanting to lose weight. I'm running Euro weight loss and numbers are growing and it is busy in Shidyak. And I'm getting to the point where I want to have kind of my little transformation on the side. And I say little, but at the end of the day, it's it's as hard as any. I wanted to lose more weight. I did not have a number as a goal in mind. But it was just like, I'm ready for the next step. So at this point, I'm like 165 pounds, let's say. And those are my numbers. And when at that point in my life, that's when I've like being 165, 160 was like a really good number. And of course it is. You're 5'9". Like people look good when you're 5'9" and you weigh 160. Like you look good, you feel good, all of that. And so I had been that way for 10 years, but I was like ready for the next step of like looking good naked. I kept saying that to myself. You want to look good naked. It sounds so like, meh. Like why is that important? But again, it's not your business. It's none of your
No,
business.
it's not your business. And on our event, Brenda Lumelli, when you're losing, she specializes in helping women lose the last 10 pounds. And she said, you need to recalibrate your why, because
Yeah.
your why to lose weight at the beginning is different than the last 10, 20. So you need to be, if looking good naked is your why, then that's your why.
Yeah, exactly. And no one can choose if that's good enough or not, or if it's not okay. And I love that you said that because when you're 160 at 5'9", you're considered healthy. You have tons of energy.
Yeah.
You feel good. You look good. You can shop. You can get dressed. So I mean, all of the things that most people that want to lose weight for, right, is to have energy, all of that. I had all of that. There was nothing else missing. So if you want to get to the next level, you need another reason than just, oh, I want to feel good and be healthy. Think of the people that train like for like shows, the people that get like really cut and really whatever.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you know what I mean? They're obviously not to perform. No, what's the word? It's not the word. Performing. There's a word you say and it's the right one.
Okay.
Compete. Merci. That is exactly what I wanted. So the people that compete, do you think they're doing it because like, oh, they want to be healthy or be whatever? No, it's like they have their own reasons why they do that, right? It's beyond just, being a healthy weight for your that their reasons are something else completely.
Yeah.
Anyway, so that's where I embarked on it. Was I thinking of losing 20 pounds? Absolutely not. It was just, I had already been 150 or 152 was the lowest I'd ever seen.
Okay.
And then I felt good at 152.
Okay.
And I remembered that. And I remembered how, when you're like dangling with the feeling of not feeling at your best.
Yes.
Well, that's how I felt every time I was 165.
Yeah.
Always dangling with it. And I didn't want to, I wanted to go see what was on the other side, but I was willing to give it time. Finally, my intentions were good because the last times I was ever in 150s was for a cruise.
Right.
And it was done so intense, like going to the gym every single day, 2 hours. I had no kids, right?
Yeah.
But the first time I got to 150, no children, basically no responsibilities. And I remember being at the Y hours, like burning calories and everything was planned and there's less bites. There's nothing. You're just,
your goal was to look good on your cruise.
Yeah. And then what happened?
And you probably came home already back in the 160s.
Oh, absolutely, Alicia. I left for a cruise at 152.6. I will always remember this. And I got back and I was 160 point something. It was like my body, I had like convinced myself that my body needed to be 160, but it was the consistency that was missing. And also just wanting that, So I was ready to like see what it would be like to lose weight, but not for a cruise, not for whatever, just to look good naked. And you're looking good naked is a forever thing. You know what I mean? It's not like a cruise. If you want that, then it's because you want it for forever. You know what I mean?
I can relate to obviously so much what you're saying, because if you guys are listening to this, you may or may not know that Josee and I are the exact same height. And I am right now just under the 165 mark. So I know exactly how I feel when I'm over 165. I know exactly how I feel when I'm closer to 160. And so I totally get those numbers.
Yeah,
and
she relates to those numbers. Yeah.
And the feelings, it's the feelings for me.
Feeling.
It's not the number. It's not, oh, I weigh 165. For me, it's, I don't feel 100% comfortable in all of my clothes. And I don't want to live that life.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Absolutely. And it's also relative. And like, I mean, yes. Mm-hmm.
It is also relative, because I remember when I hit, like, I remember telling you I looked good naked at 200 pounds. Like, and I did. And you know what? I felt great and good for me.
Yeah, you felt so good. I remember you saying 189. All you wanted was 189 and you're like, I look so good. I look like whatever and you did. You did, you know? But it was total and it's always up to the person to decide if they want the next 10 or the next 3 or whatever, you know?
I
It's
love
never
that you
someone
said
yeah.
that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
you
never
can
someone else.
decide to be done at any time, and what we encourage is not a number. What
No.
we encourage is a feeling and happiness.
Yeah. Okay, so let's fast forward 2016 we rocked it. Let's go to with that.
Check.
I lost 20, she lost 50. But for me it was mostly like in terms of your weight loss, right? In the business, it kept growing. And I was basically at my max when I did September 2016. It was like insane. At this point I've like hit 400 members in Shidyak and it's just we're at our max and if ever I would want to grow the business, I would need a second location but yet I knew I couldn't clone myself and be somewhere else at the same time. Being in Moncton was like the dream because it was like a bigger city.
Right.
But then how do I let go of 400 people that have supported me in my little community, knowing that that's also an amazing accomplishment, you know?
Yes.
So it was like, how would I ever do this? How would I ever get this done? So Alicia loses her weight. She obviously like I really believe that that year was huge for us in our personal lives and in our friendship as well. Like we really connected in 2016 in terms of like because obviously being healthy and this like all the things that are in my head are a big part of who I am. And we had never had that connection before because you were overweight and not in that same mindset or same. So I feel like 2016 was such a year for us to our mindset really went fast because we were together and it was like every single day reflection and talking. And so I think that's why like it's not I'm not saying that's why your mindset was so amazing. Both of us, I think it was like mindset on steroids.
Yeah. We also were bonding over the fact that we had kids the exact same age.
Right.
Like you would just become a mom and not like I think I was one of your only really like mom friends. So
You're
like
right.
there was a lot of talking about your nipples
Right. Mm-hmm.
and the
Yeah.
pain of breastfeeding and sleeping and swaddling. And it was my second and third, right? So I was like a little bit more advanced in my mom skills.
You absolutely were. And I also like gave birth. I remember giving birth and you came to see me, showed me how to swaddle. We
Yeah.
talked about like the sleeping thing and you were like extra pregnant with your twins cuz Dia is 6 weeks older, right,
Right.
than your twins or exactly 2 months, right? Aren't they no, August. What are
August
your
19th.
yeah, like she's June 21st. Like
Okay. I'm
almost
super
2
pregnant.
exactly 2 months. Yeah, you're super pregnant with twins. So I remember you visiting me. It was so nice. Anyways, but yes, 2016 was like that moment where I'm like, if I want to grow, I need to open up a new location. I don't want to drive to Moncton either. 30 minutes from my home. My location is actually 2 seconds from my home, right? So that's when I talked to Alicia about it. Do you know like how early I started to talk about that with you? Was it early in the year? Like,
I don't think so. Like I don't remember ever thinking, "Okay, I'm gonna need to do this so that I can be the leader." Like I don't ever remember that.
oh, absolutely not.
I do
That was never
remember
the intent. Yeah.
thinking, "Wow, she really believes in me."
Really?
Yeah, and also I wasn't not that you have to be super skinny to be a leader, but I certainly wasn't super skinny. Like, you know what I mean? I would have been 180, so like I was still 20 pounds heavier than I am now. And I was like, "Wow, like she believes in me. She feels like I'm enough."
Oh my gosh. And you know, I had never found so by this time we're about to celebrate our 5-year anniversary at Euro Weight Loss in 2017 and I had never found someone that I felt like could give a message and also I'm sorry, it's not even about like having that mindset, but like losing weight and trusting that the person will not gain it back. Like for me, your weight loss was so important that people need to lose weight and keep it off. Like I
Yeah.
want to help people lose weight and keep it off. It's not just about the weight loss part. So it was like you were just a baby in the weight loss, in your weight loss journey. You were, you weren't even 1 year in, but I
Yeah.
knew I was like, just your mindset was insane. She was so ahead of the game in terms of her mindset. We just needed to give her time to lose the weight. Does that make sense? You were like, you did it totally the opposite of people.
I
Usually people
know. I
lose weight first and then like takes a long time before they get that mindset. Years. But you had like done so much mindset work. I'm telling you, mindset on steroids, that I was like, I think she is so ready. Also, personality, teacher, weight loss journey. I knew you. I had known you now for 5, 6, 7 years. Like we were friends. Like I trusted you for sure.
And I do think one thing about us that has really like helped us to continue this business together on a very like same path is we both work hard. Like we will work as hard, as long, as much. There's no such thing as sick. We don't get sick. There are no sick days in our lives. Like we have that same mentality that I
Oh
think
my
was
God.
really important for us to be partners together in.
Oh, absolutely. And I was listening to Kat Nat's podcast and they're like, we are not like counting what I did, what she did. It's not tit for tat. You know, we are business partners and we like, yes, like we're not counting down like what, oh, she went live and I went live. Like that's not our partnership as being partners with Your Weight Loss for sure. And it's never been, you know?
No.
But yes, she is right that I guess we didn't know to what extent that we were that same way. That's not the word. To what extent?
No.
Is that the right word? That we were that similar in how we show up. And you like just the first time, oh my God, when you showed up to the location and there was no electricity and you still opened, I'm like, that's my girl. That's how I knew that you were the right person. Like I was like, she's gonna stick around. There's no way. Like when someone's like so dedicated, that's like there's no electricity, but we're still gonna open our doors. I had electricity in Shediac, and you didn't in Riverview, and I'm like, she still opened with flashlights
in the pitch dark with a flashlight.
So dangerous. But that's how I knew your commitment to it. And that was the only way that I could have someone open up another location and be the head leader there. You needed to have like that needed to be your baby as much as it was mine. And maybe it was too soon for me to trust you, but I friggin' did and it worked out. So there you go.
I agree. Like, but you know what? You putting that trust in me also was like, okay, like, you know,
I need to show up.
I need to show up. I mean, that's just the way I've been my whole life.
Okay. Do you forget sometimes about the trauma of the location and with, what was his name? You know his name. Let's call him Barry.
Terry.
I was going to say the right name, but I said Barry. So Terry, that's his name. Remember the drama with Terry?
There was a lot of drama. It's obviously hard to find a location, guys, when
people don't understand that, but it is hard to find a location that is dedicated to your business as you are.
Yeah. Every single Saturday, they were like, oh, except for this. And I'm like, nope. And you can't, it's not like you can find a place that does weddings because they need to do weddings and you only need it for a couple hours every Saturday and it has to be open and it has to fit like 200 people.
Like, imagine when we call people and we're like, okay, so we want to rent your hall or whatever. We want to rent your space 2 hours a week or 3 hours a week, and you can never close. Like, we are the main people. Remember how we wanted to book the church downstairs at the church, and they're like, what if there's a funeral? It's like, nope, can't have funerals. Like, no one can, like, we have it. I don't care if someone dies. We need the location every Saturday.
Yeah.
They're like, we can only promise you if there's no funerals. Like, no, we can't live that way. We are running a true business here that can't just close.
I know. It was a lot, and we had a location booked, and then all of a sudden he was like closed, but he gave us like 4 minutes warning.
We were dying. Like, and Alicia was like having so much success in Riverview, like 200 people are showing up, and all of a sudden you're telling us that the location is no longer There was no words that came out of his mouth. There was no explanation.
I think we found our new location that week. Like, I don't think we missed a week.
Oh no, we were never closed. We hustled and called and called. And to think that we've had our locations, like you've had your location now for 4 years, which is insane, and mine for almost 10 or 9 years, sorry. And they've never like sent us away. Like they've never like this Saturday, you can't have it. Like one time he tried, he was like, we need to wax the floors. I'm like, you're going to wax the floors when I leave. Like, I have the location. I'm not going to close it because you have to wax the floor. But we've been obviously good tenants, right? Like we've shown up and we've like, so, anyways, that's like a part that people don't understand is finding a location that you rent out, and you have to be so consistent and be open, and not, that's hard.
That is hard. So 2017, I don't know how I slept the night before. Melissa, I didn't know she was coming down to help me.
Thought about that.
Yeah, and I gave my speech. I guess it was great. 130 people showed up that day.
Insane.
And then, the big part of that was us. We started the community group. So we started a Facebook group to go along with the membership, and that had never been a part of the membership before. And Josee and I didn't know what it was going to be like. We thought it was going to be like us posting selfies nonstop.
Yeah, we're like basically like anything we eat we'll post, anything like we never thought about lives either. It was always videos. I think lives started later.
Maybe.
But it was just like, it was just like we're just gonna like show up and like basically be there for them and whatever. But no, like it had a mind of its own. Like the members rocked it, and they still do. It's a big part of the membership.
They still do. And that community group is such an amazing place, and our members make it what it is. It's such a safe place. It's such a positive place. It's like really an amazing thing. And that was huge for Your Way Weight Loss when that started.
Because it opened up doors that we didn't even know could open, as
Agreed.
Starting an online program. So that's January 2017. We opened up in Riverview. I must have had a lot of migraines that year, huh? A lot of stress. Like imagine like just, like doing that and then doing this like that. I cried a lot in 2017. Let's be real. I cried a lot. I was tired. I was a mom and a teacher, and then opening up that, and then like wanting to do online, and then doing the website, and just knowing how that was going to run and what that was going to look like. I cried a lot.
Were you working part-time in 2017?
I was, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
I was working part-time. So, but it was still like 0.75.
Yeah, which is like
nothing. I had 1 hour before going get Dia. So it wasn't good enough. So 2017 is also the year, Leash, that I was team teaching with Mathieu. And so that was it was my last year. So, well, then I must have been 0.5. Anyways, so basically we started thinking about going online because people were reaching out and they were seeing so much success. By this time we have like, we're 500, 600, 700 members. So people know about Your Weight Loss in the area, and people are getting tons of success. And also it's been a business that's been open for 5 years now. So that's just reputation. Anyways, so we see that there is something that can be done at a distance. And we're like, how can people lose weight at a distance? Well, they could get on their own scale, right? Being accountable is a big part of like the transparency, the feedback. And then we're like, they could also watch us from home. We could go live. So I don't know if we started lives in January.
I don't know, or just recording. We knew if we recorded our meetings, they could get posted.
Have access. Yeah, I don't know.
People could watch it later.
So we chose 10 people around Canada to try it for free. Basically, we're like, hey, tell us what you think. Tell us whatever. They just kind of became our trial period. And we saw that they were it was the same thing. Like they were getting the same success. They were getting the same message. If they were present and doing, being in the group, that it worked.
Yeah. The secret is not the scale at the location. The secret is not, the secret is there's no secret. What we recognized in that moment was the members that were successful were the members that were present in whatever way that was available to them. And they were like the drivers of the journey.
Absolutely. And like, to think about all the things we've added to the membership since 2017 is like insane. Basically, you can join and like your goal can like, your focus is like, I don't want to lose weight. I just want to be happy. Cool. We have this and this and this for you just to like work on your happiness. You know what I mean? There's so much that is offered. But anyways, so we decide that we're going to launch online May 1st, 2017.
Okay.
So the months prior to that are busy and getting that website ready.
Did you and Jeff build that website together?
I mean, probably Jeff built the website.
Okay.
But I told him like what I wanted. Basically, I need to get like, okay, you're going to get an email when someone joins, and then you're going to have to send them a welcome email. So I'll just making the system, creating the system. So there's a system that needs to work behind the scenes, right?
Yeah.
So we obviously promote it. We promote that we're going online, that you can join from a distance. And I remember in the first week, we got like close to 200 people join online. That was insane.
Insane. I remember we're dying. Like,
we're dying. I'm crying every night because I need to wake up at like 4 a.m. to do work. Remember? Because I needed to go, like, everything was done by hand, guys.
oh my gosh. Guys, if we tell you the detail of which we're still like that. We're still very old school. We have paper and like and
Highlighters.
pencils, but we were highlighting. There was Excel spreadsheets. There was 1 by 1. There was a lot of things that we were doing not as efficient as they could be.
Absolutely. But like, you don't know how to run an online business. You know, you're just like figuring it out your way. I hired no one to help. And so it was just like, I was just like showing up, and I remember crying a lot because I felt overwhelmed and I just couldn't believe of everything that we were like, you know, we had promised members that, you know, we would answer their emails and like whatever. So it was like so many promises that we needed to keep, and we had not thought of the system, and also just like the want, what's the word? Like, we didn't know the people that were going to join, like the amount of people that were going to join.
And that's part of our story.
The demand.
Like that's part of our story. And that's part of, you know, we had to learn and make mistakes. It wasn't a mistake. It's just part of the learning process, and realizing and recognizing what's the best way to serve our members. That is the way that we believe they need to be successful.
Oh yes. So we've like developed, like we've like adjusted and changed because we saw what members do need to be successful, and true success: weight loss and maintaining it, the skills they need, what kind of service do we need to provide? Like all of that has been like so adjusted and changed. And I mean, experience gives us that, like that knowledge of like, this is what they need, because we see it, we've seen it, we've like lived it, right? So 2017 is when like legit have like such an open and honest conversation with my husband. And I'm like, I cannot teach and do this. And he saw, like he knew. I still remember the day that was like the happiest. Like we went out for his birthday, and I was like, I have like an Excel spreadsheet ready to show you that I can work, like do your weight loss full time, and we're going to be fine. And like, I can do less, Dia can do halftime at daycare if we need to cut there, like whatever, like obviously it's all finances, right? Like how do you do that? You know?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And of course Jeff is into finances. So everything is calculated and everything's like, whatever. So I'm like, you know what? This is what I think is going to happen. You know, it's going to keep growing, and it's going to give me more time to work on the business and not show up at school and give 5 hours of my time, you know, to be a teacher.
I mean, and I remember when I was making the decision to stop teaching, and I remember people saying to me, one person in particular, she said, you won't even realize how much more you'll be able to give the business because you're not sucking all your energy. And she's like, you'll actually, it's not like you're going to grow. Like you're going to have so much more energy. And I assume you felt that same way once you finished teaching.
Oh, absolutely. And also I knew we were building a home, and I wanted another child. So it's like, you want to do all of that. Plus you want me to like grow a business and go teaching. I legit, when I was like, when I was teaching, it was like, I didn't have time to go. I was like, I have so much work to do that I don't have time to go work.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
I even remember, now that you say that, I remember you like having to pick out a lot for the house. Obviously building your own house is like a lot of work as well. And I remember even that you were like, oh my F, like just pick a friggin' thing, but you were feeling the pressure because you knew this was your forever home, and like every little thing. It was a lot. That was a lot.
It was a big year. Yep, exactly. And I was like legit so serious with Jeff. I'm like, do you hear my words? I am going to crash. And it's either I let your weight loss go right now, or I let teaching. You make that decision. And like, he knew, like, he knew I was like, at the end, I can't do it. Like,
at
it's
capacity.
too much. He also saw I'm waking at 4 a.m. Like I'm waking at 4:30 a.m. My wife is waking at 4:30 a.m. so she can work and then be a mom to go back to work, to come back to work and then be a mom. Like that's her life right now. Like he
Remember the,
like
like, the little
saw
sheets? I'm picturing your sheets stapled together with the
top roast.
days and the highlighter. Are you having are you right? That's what you would do at like 4 in the
Sometimes I like
morning?
can't believe
Oh
this is
my gosh.
bringing me back. Is it bringing you back to like, oh
It
my God,
it's
remember when
funny
we
how
used
you almost, like, forget some things,
yeah,
but
like
it's,
childbirth.
there's children everywhere, they're seeping
Oh,
in.
it's fine. They can totally sneak in. Okay. So the next thing is now we're seeing success online. And I mean, at the end of the day, Leash, what's next is just 2020, the pandemic going also like, updating the way online works, the courses online that we now have. So I guess what has happened from 2017 opening online to today is just how amazing our service is and how we've like been able to develop a true online program.
Absolutely. And we found an amazing, we changed our website, we found a more suitable platform, and and between those 2 times, we both ended up, not teaching at all. So like you
Yeah.
were done, and then I went 0.75 one year, then I went 0.5, and then I had made the decision in 2020 was only, it was less than a year ago that I made the decision to stop teaching.
We're so happy to have you at your weight loss. Having you all to myself is like was the best gift you could have given me
It was the best gift I could have ever given myself.
and your family. And like I knew that you were like at your limit. I'm like, she'll know. She'll know
I
when she
was
can't take it. Yeah.
I was at my limit.
Yeah, because the workload was still there, and I was like, "It's still waiting for you." And you were working at school, and then working every night so late. You know what I mean? And you
Yeah.
still are, but it's like you still have so much flexibility. You know what I mean? Which is what I wanted for you because I knew that then you couldn't give me quality as well.
Do you know what? This is a good conversation to have right now
Yeah.
because it is like we're trying to practice some gratitude right now and be
Yes.
grateful for what is going on in our lives and what we can control. And you know what? I need to be darn grateful for that flexibility. Like, remember, like the first month, I was like, here I am drinking my coffee. They're all
She
gone.
was so happy, and I knew exactly her feeling. I knew exactly I'm like, suck it in, girl, because this is going to become your reality, and then it's going to be all relative. But in this moment, it is everything, and it is just the best feeling ever. So I'm like, just watching you was so fun.
Ugh.
So sometimes we like look at each other and we're like, this is our job. Like we're very, very fortunate. Like we know that, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And then 2020 was a big year for us. I mean, the pandemic happened, but it's like I knew because sometimes I'm like, oh my God, did like the gods send me a sign? Because guys, I basically in 2019 chose to like get shit done and make our program so epic online that when the pandemic hit, it was all set and ready. Like, think about that, Leash. If we would not have Kajabi and all that set up, like Pichela. So basically our whole program in 2020, January 2020, we did a huge migration for your weight loss. We migrated our old system to a new system online. Like it was a huge, huge shift for your weight loss in January 2020. And then the pandemic hits 2 friggin' months later.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my God, like basically we're okay because we've done that, if not, it would have been more of a mess.
And it was still, we lost people, like
We
people.
certainly did lose a lot of people. That our numbers did go down, but like it was part of the pandemic. It was part of what everyone was going to see.
People were panicked about their jobs and affording it, and that is part of it. But we just kept going, kept coming. Like we just never
We
have.
kept showing up for the people that wanted to listen. And the end of 2020 was one of our best endings of ever because of our exposure on TikTok and our exposure on Instagram, and things have just been growing since then. So, and then our event that we just did has been just so good for us. So really we're on cloud 9 when it comes to your weight loss in this past year, to be honest.
We totally are. And we already are. We've been spending this week, spending our focus talking about where we want to show up, how we want to show up, how we want to serve the people for 2021. And we're excited. We need this right now.
We do need this. I am pumped for 2021. I'm ready to write out a plan. I'm ready to show up.
I am ready to show up. I'm ready to crush some goals.
Okay, this was amazing. Thank you.
This was so fun.
This was so fun. 35 minutes. I mean, they've been asking for longer podcasts, so here we go. Thank you so much for listening, everyone. As always, follow us, subscribe to our podcast. And now we're showing up twice a week, which is so fun. Find us on YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook under Your Way Weight Loss, or on our website, yourwayRsupport.com. Give us a 5 thumbs up, or that's YouTube, whatever, 5 stars.
All the thumbs and all the stars, please.
Okay, bye, guys.
See ya.